My name is Jim Rollefson. I'm here in Boynton Beach, Florida at Quail Ridge Country Club at the 2014 Society of Seniors National Championships. There's 3 divisions here. There's a Legends division for 70 and over. There's a Super Senior division for players 65 and over, and there's a Seniors division for players 55 to 64. I'm going to talk for just a few minutes about some of the mental aspects of how to play better golf and how to use your mind to help you shoot a better score. And I'm going to just pass on, almost verbatim, some of the thoughts from Dr. Bob Rotella, who's also a Society of Senior member, who wrote some fantastic books, one of them called Golf is Not a Game of Perfect, along with another number of other good books. I'm just going to summarize some of the points that I carry in my golf bag with me when I'm trying to have a positive thought about golf, and these are things I read before a tournament. And they're all based on positive images of what you're going to try to do and where you're trying to keep your mind focused. So I'm just going to read them as he wrote them, and they're fantastic in my opinion. First one is, a person with great dreams can achieve great things. It's how you think about what you might want to accomplish down the road. You have to have some goal. Your goal could be, I want to shoot 79 in 2 years, or you want to become a scratch handicap player, or you want to break 95. Whatever it is, you need to have a dream and try to achieve it. People, by and large, become what they think about themselves. That's one of the second steps, and that sure helped me become a good golfer, because I was a semi-pro baseball player and wasn't good at golf early at all, but I knew I wanted to be a better and better golfer as I got away from baseball, which I loved. I needed to find something else to be good at, and I wanted to be good at golf, and I had an image of what I thought I could do with that. Golfing potential depends primarily on your attitude and your skill with the wedges and the putter, which are over 50% of the game, and also how well a golfer thinks. So great golfers are really just ordinary people, but they're thinking well, and they're doing extraordinary deeds, and they're doing it because of how they think of themselves, and they're paying attention to how their mind is working while they play a round of golf. You've also heard of players that have a great round and say, man, I was playing over my head. But there is no such thing as a golfer that's playing over his head. A hot streak's simply a glimpse of a golfer's true potential. If you get 5 birdies in a row, it shows you can get 5 birdies in a row again. It's inside of you. So when I'm playing in a tournament, if I get 2 or 3 birdies in a row, some people say a lot of players get nervous about that. I don't at all. I am so excited, and I try to tell myself, get another birdie before a bogey. So I keep trying to tell myself going low is good. It's comfortable going low. It's not a bad thing. It's okay to get a 4, 5, 6 birdies in a row. During the round of golf that you're playing, and most tournament players know this for sure, it's how you're thinking through that round that makes a difference. And all of a sudden, if you have a loss of focus on 4 or 5 shots in the round, all of a sudden that makes a huge difference between a great golf round and a mediocre round. So you got to catch yourself when you're starting to let your mind fly away and you're not thinking about positive thoughts. So you've got to pay attention to the positive things. If you're riding with a cart partner who is kind of a negative person, you got to get out of the cart and walk away, and you can't be listening to a lot of negative stuff. If you're an optimist, which works good for golf, you want to be around optimistic people. You want to encourage other people playing well. And if you've got a bummer in your group, you've got to kind of stay away from them for a while. They're not going to help you in your golf round that day. Confidence is a crucial part of good golf. And confidence when you're playing golf is really all it is. It's the total number of good thoughts you have about yourself. It's how you think about what kind of golfer I could be. And you're better off thinking of yourself as a confident, good golfer than some hack out there. So you want to think good things about your golf game. When I started golfing, I was very wild to hit very high, big hooks out of bounds. So I thought of myself as an ex-baseball player that's wild and so forth. As I got better and better and played with better players, took golf lessons, then I talked to some of the other good players I played with and said, I have problems. I walk up to a tee and I'm still remembering my big hooks out of bounds. And they said, you have to get rid of that thought. You have to think about what you're doing now. And I worked very hard about that, so I don't try to think as much about how bad I used to be when I started golf. A golfer can't let the first few holes, or actually the first swing, have a lot to do with what you're going to do for the rest of your round. Don't let those first few swings, shots, putts determine your thinking for the rest of the round. Make sure you can stay positive for the rest of the round. While you're golfing, the golfer should also strive to be looser, freer, and more confident with every hole. And this will combat the tendency to start tightening up and trying to be more careful and more doubtful. So you want to be looser, freer, or carefree rather than tightening up. And that also allows your body to work better as you're trying to turn. Because golf is a relatively simple game. It's turning your body at zero, hitting it at zero, and staying in balance. And so that's why practicing your body, swinging your body without a club helps also. But that same idea fits in there. You want to think of being freer, looser, and more confident, not more self-doubting. Being careful, tightening up, and trying to steer the ball will likely cause disasters. And here's what's important, and I've always remembered this line from Bob Rotella. Good golfers gain control over the ball by feeling that they are giving up control. And so that's where you've got, when you see water right, and you see a lot of high handicappers, they're going to look at the water right and say, Jim, don't forget there's water right. That's the last thing I want to hear. It's the last thing I'm thinking of. I look out there, I see there's water right. I don't tell myself there's water right. I immediately look, where do I want to hit it to? What's the shape of my shot going to be? So I immediately go from, I mentally know where I don't want to go, but that's 5% of my thought process. I want to immediately go to where do I want to hit it, because my body wants to follow my positive thought. And there aren't many people in golf that can process a negative thought. So as soon as you say, don't go here, it's unbelievable how many people will hit a cut shot and the ball head right for the disaster area. Golfers also have to have selective memories when they're thinking about how they're shooting and so forth. You should always try to remember your best shots and forget as fast as you can your bad shots. And selective memory helps a golfer grow in confidence as he gains experience and skill. So the better you can flip away the things you didn't do well, the better it is for you. Also, golf's a game that's played by human beings, and therefore it is a game of mistakes. We aren't perfect. Successful golfers know how well, they know better than other players how to respond to their mistakes, and that's important. Also, golfers must learn to enjoy the challenge, or actually love the challenge, when they hit a ball into the rough, trees, or sand, which is hard for us in a tournament to realize that, but the more I think positively, if I hit a bad shot, I'm trying to tell myself, I hope I can get this to 90, 80, 70 yards and get up and down for a par. So the more I can think positively, even when I hit a bad shot, the better I'm going to do, rather than being mad and swearing and so forth. Golfers must learn to love the challenge when they hit a ball into the rough, trees, or the sand. And the alternatives, which are anger, fear, whining, and cheating, do no good. Then also, players with great attitudes constantly monitor their thinking while they're meditating. Positive thinking begins to falter. So during the round, they're paying attention. When we are in tournaments and we're playing well or leading in a tournament towards the end, the 15, 16, 17, 18 holes are very, very important to keep your mind on what you're trying to do. Because all good players have lost tournaments towards the end. I did one 2 or 3 weeks ago at Yeamans Hall, and it wasn't my thinking. I hit a bad shot, and then I 4-putted, which was a killer. But all good players do make mistakes at times, and that does happen. So overall, if you have a chance to read the books by Bob Rotella, it's very helpful. His whole image that helps you golf is the fact that your mind is a big part of golf. It's not just your swing, practicing